Welcome, everybody. We are the Shills, a group of YouTube creators and debunkers coming together for live roundtable chats, live interviews, guests, all kinds of great stuff, and lots more to come. So keep watching this space. Absolutely. Tonight, we've got a fantastic show lined up as we've got Hiith on the program. Oh, yeah, people. And he was nice enough to bring along his clone. We have Planarwalk with us as well. This will be fantastic, but pay attention so you know who's speaking. So let's switch into high gear here, get around the table and see what all these cool, groovy folks are up to. I'm seeing AB Science. How are you, buddy? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you very much. And how are you on this fine and glorious evening?
Well, I'm really looking forward to this one. We've got great vids lined up, fantastic guests. This is going to be so much fun.
Excellent, excellent. That's what we want to see.
So what's going on in the world of AB Science?
Well, I've just uploaded a video. It went live a couple of hours ago, and I'm working on a few other things. I've already dropped a little hint in that video what I'll be doing next. It may involve an egg.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Because the eggs are a really hot topic these days, let's face it. Such amazing
Love a good
stuff.
egg.
Oh, yeah, right on. Excellent. Well, we know we've got lots of good stuff coming from AB Science. And let's go around to where people, you know, have that upside down feel to themselves. I think we should check in with Andy Flatter and see how he's doing.
Hey, kia ora, my bro. How are we going?
Good, good, man. What's happening in your world? What's new and shaking cool?
Well, unfortunately, we're still on lockdown, trying to figure out how that douchebag managed to break in and take all the behind-the-scenes footage. But you know, we're slowly cracking down, and I think we might have to replace the penguin scene.
Oh, no. Oh, this is just turning out to be terrible. We're going to have to assemble at your place and get the security up to snuff here.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but that may be one too many dicks in the place.
Nice slot. Nice shot. Very good. Now, if we want to turn to somebody who's got a mouth and something to say, let's hear from Jutmonkthedrunk Monkey.
Oi, fucking oi.
Hey, buddy. How are you these days? What's happening in your world?
Well, I mean, apart from like when we were prepping for this show in the office and I took a dump in my hand and you spotted it, shouted out, everyone dashed out the door, but I managed to get Logical on the back, Kevin on the shoulder, and I'm sorry, Aimee, but I got her right in the fucking eye. It was awesome.
You hear this, people? Do you see what we have to put up with just trying to get this guy appropriately dressed and ready for the show? Oh, you didn't dress again, I see on the screen here. Damn it, monkey.
Yeah, I know. I went to the toilet and I always take it off.
So, video-wise, what are you looking at? What's coming up?
Well, nothing's coming up that I haven't already said. Obviously, on the other channel, Truth Is Not a Hoax. Just working on them things in the background, but I am also now working on Burt Rickles', his Creator's Corner appearance. So that we'll have a date in the next couple of days.
Awesome. Right on. Love it. Love it. And we should now travel to the greater depths of outer space and see what our resident head in the jar, DeadKennedyInSpace, is up to. How you doing, buddy?
Excellent. I am in full debunking mode today. I am ready to rip apart some stupid. I'm like a shark with math for teeth.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And we've got some good stuff for those teeth to really rip into. Excellent. How's the video series on the what do we call it here? Riley's toilet paper. That's a good one. Yeah. How's that coming?
It's coming along. I'm most of the way through the third and final vid because it's that paper is such shit. It starts as a law thesis, and by the end of it, it's just every flat Earth video ever, and it's like I'm not doing this again.
It must be killing you to go through that whole thing in such agonizing detail. I'm not sure I could do it, to be honest.
It's that's what I mean. Is there's a point where I couldn't anymore. Like I got I don't know 25 out of 34 pages in, and I was like, this is stupid. and but I am doing a third video on it and finishing it because it's madness.
Well, when you're done, I recommend that you get yourself a little pet bird in a cage and you've got something to put on the bottom of it and make sure it stays clean because that's where it belongs. Absolutely. Now, let's flip over and see what's happening in Cave Town. We got Logical Troglodyte here tonight. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, Dicky boy. How you doing?
I'm surprised that's never happened before. What's happening your way, man?
Well, I have been working really hard in the background with Jeff trying to get the next episode of Logic and Reason up and running. I've been putting so much energy into that. I've had to ask my little brother Shaggy Troglodyte to do me up some content for the Logical Troglodyte channel. I've got a couple of the cave pets keeping an eye on him so he doesn't get too far off the rails. But the next episode of Logic and Reason is going to be really good. It's going to be airing October the 20th, midnight on Central Daylight Time, 0600 British time. We will be discussing the conspiracy claim that rockets do not work in a vacuum. Our returning guest, Blue Marble Science, will be with us, and there is a rumor that quite possibly Red's Rhetoric may join us from the depths of Hades. That is not yet confirmed, but we're working on that in the background.
Well, we know from previous experience his casual nature, and then he just appears. So I'm pretty sure it's going to work out. Absolutely. And speaking of Logic and Reason, let's turn to his partner in crime, Steaming Cup of Reason himself. How you doing, buddy? What's happening?
Hey, I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Struggling through a little bit today. Wasn't feeling the best this morning, but I mean, with this group, how could you not be hyped and ready to go, right? Come on.
Yeah, no kidding, man. It's great to be here, everybody.
Well, let's talk Mega Mirror for a second. The AB Science one was fantastic stuff. There must be a good reaction to that so far.
Actually, it's been not too bad. Unfortunately, I got it out 24 hours late, so I took a few of my viewers by surprise, I think. But generally, the feedback has been good, and I sure had a good time making it. And AB was a real trooper getting that out to me because I know he's been having some trouble with his voice lately. So hope you're feeling better soon, AB. And yeah, thanks a lot for that.
I'm already feeling much better. When I recorded that, it was a nightmare. You can hear my voice cracking at the end. It was quite bad.
Yeah. Well, you were a real trooper, and I really appreciated that. Other than that, as Logical said, the next Logic and Reason is going to be great. Hoping Red Rhetoric will be able to join us, and we are working real hard in the background to get that done. Also, I'm working on a video for my good friend Jut, which I hope to have out to him later on today. So watch Jut's channel for that. And also, I am planning on possibly doing the Mega Mirror next week as a live stream. So as soon as I make a decision on how I'm going to approach that, I'll announce that here. So watch this space.
Do you know, I'm gutted because I can never watch them live. That time, I always miss them. Because you premiere them, don't you?
Yeah, I usually do.
Yeah,
to pull that live is going to be a great idea. I can't wait. Absolutely. And let's switch up to our absolutely kick-ass showrunner for this evening, Aimee Hogan. How you doing over there? What's happening?
Oh, I'm great, thank you. Aside from the poop in my eye, Judd, but I'm doing great.
I still love you. Don't worry.
Okay.
I did get it off for you.
Great.
I licked it off.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm doing great though. Everything's going good, and I'm excited for a good show tonight.
Awesome. That's what we want to hear. Great stuff. And let's check in with, speaking of great stuff and great show, our producer, Tatty. How you doing, buddy? What's happening your way?
Evening, troops. Okay, having a great time out the night again, I think. Been preparing this one. I've started drinking extra special early just to make sure this goes smooth.
Oh, right. He has the power of the percentage at his fingertips. We cannot fail, people. Absolutely great news. Now, tonight, sitting in with the panel as one of the best shills you'll ever see on this show, we've got Planarwalk. Buddy, how's it going?
Ahoy, hoy.
Great to have you back, man. How's things in your world?
Things are going all right.
Anything new and cool that you can give us a little hint on? Maybe something that's coming up?
Yeah, I have a whole lot of great video ideas. The only problem is that I have forgotten just about all of them. So all I can remember is that I do want to. So I made a video on that guy the other day, and there were a few people that were saying, "Oh, that guy is just the worst." And I want to just remind people that Right the Hand exists.
Good one.
I am very sorry for introducing him to your Discord server.
Wait, you introduced Right the Hand to my Discord server?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was me complaining about how there was a distinct lack of flat earthers for us to poke fun of, and Dawn actually went out and picked up Right the Hand and got him into the Discord server. So I am very sorry. This is my formal apologies.
Oh,
but yeah, that was me.
To be fair, there were I did get a fair bit of content out of Right the Hand. There was a video where he debunked himself. There was a video where he complained how atoms weren't real, and by extension, quantum mechanics. And then there was that stream that I had with him where people were saying how calm I was and how angry he was. So, you know.
Well, I mean, between you said Dawn and Right the Hand in the same sentence, I was waiting for a volcano to explode or something, because that is some serious stupid wrapped up in one sentence. Holy. Now, before we go any further with any of this stuff, we have an awesome guest to introduce and bring to the panel for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Hiith to the Silly Shill Show. Hiith, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. We've been looking forward to this for a little while. Can't wait. We got some great videos to tear into. Gonna have a lot of fun. Video-wise, what do you got coming up in the future? Any hints you can drop or anything?
I don't have a whole lot in the making, but I was thinking of looking through some Flat Earth forums, maybe.
That's a good idea.
That could be interesting.
I'm hoping.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Do you know,
I think
that crossed
you'll
my
find some
mind
good in
once.
there.
That crossed my mind once for like comments. I mean, if you go into like Facebook and that, some of the comments in there and posts are just hilarious.
Oh, Judd, if you want to see some really funny conspiracy posts, check out the Facebook pages for NASA and the ISS. They're nuts.
Christ. Well, one of these videos is nuts.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of videos, holy. I wonder now, we've gone around the table. We know what everybody's up to. I wonder if we shouldn't actually start looking at a video. It's, that's kind of what we do here, right? So, yeah, Monk.
Yeah, man, I'm buzzing. I can't wait.
All right, so we've got Flat Earth, 1958 Encyclopedia Britannica, dome at 13,000 feet in New Zealand.
Ooh.
Yes,
yeah.
This is a wonderful one.
I knew I heard something from that.
Can someone stick my jar in the fridge, because I think the water is boiling.
Chuck some ice in the top.
So what do you say, everybody? Do you think we should kick it in and see how bad this could really be?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
Just give me a few seconds
right.
to bring up her feet to meters converter. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I think we'll need a horse shit to reality converter, and quite possibly a sanity converter as well. So if we have all three, we should be good.
Can I point out, without even needing a converter, before we even start, I just got to say, 13,000 feet, that's below cruising altitude, is it not?
Yeah, that's
Yes. Oh, yeah.
By far.
It's like 36,000 feet
Oh,
for
but he
cruising?
explains that one. Don't you worry.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
You've never seen
What do you say there?
bonk into the solid dome?
He works out the height in the middle from that.
What do you say, Tatty? Should we roll this? And Shall we roll it, Tatty, and see how bad this is really going to be?
Yeah, hold on to your hats, folks.
Let's
This is
do
gonna be
it.
bumpy.
You can fairly use me.
Interesting.
Okay, you guys remember how I showed you the maps that were here on Earth before 1958, before the governments took them out? And I'm going to show you the Encyclopedia Britannicas in the public libraries before 1958. Here's volume 2 out of the alphabet A. And we're going to flip to the Antarctica, and this is from 1958, as you can see. Now, we're going to flip to the Antarctica and see what the Encyclopedia Britannica from 1958, before the Antarctic Treaty, says is there. Now, you won't find this in the medias because the government's...
Pause.
Monkey.
He's just said, I have got this book, this Encyclopedia Britannica 1958 from the public library, but you won't find it anywhere because it's banned by the US government.
Did he say that? Did he say it was
Look,
banned by the
Just
government?
said that.
Yeah.
If anybody's figured it out, it's Encyclopedia Britannica, and the government has to step in, put a stop to it somewhere.
I know. I mean,
He's got it to a public library, but you will not find it anywhere.
That's the thing. It's so astounding that these people think that the government or shady organizations have such a level of control and can control every aspect of our lives, but they fail to actually pull this shit from public libraries. How?
It's not like the government owns or runs the libraries, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
No.
Too funny. Logical. You're up, buddy.
Yeah, and he said, before 1958, before the government got a chance to remove all the maps. What the fuck? We just had a video a couple of weeks ago where we had a map from the goddamn 1600s, and they were bitching about Baja California being in the wrong place. Where the fuck does he think we got that shit from? Goddamn. Pull that fucking penis out of your rear and remove your head and have a thought, for Christ's sake. What the fuck are you doing here?
Logical.
Good one. Amy's got some stuff for us. Aimee, what's happening?
Yes, I've got some good comments here. I've got one from Surf who says, ask Planarwalk if he can get his dad on. Wolfie would make a great guest. And then Mike Bertelson says, I don't know how Deakus can read through his paper. I was ready to throw myself out a window. And then Mike Bertelson also said, no. He said, right, the hand is as dumb as Riley's box of salt. And then Forrest Pfeiffer says, proof that Hiith and Planarwalk are not the same person, finally. And then End the Conspiracy says, that's the Encyclopedia Americana, not Britannica. And then Errant Massa said, that's not the sodding Encyclopedia Britannica.
Oh, nice.
Well, just a point around proof that Planarwalk and Hiith are not the same person. I mean, we're not actually physically seeing them in the same room, are we? We're just hearing different voices. They could, it's just.
I thought we talked about this. I thought we talked about this.
I do have my
we don't ever hear them talking at the same time. It's always, Hiith talks, Planar talks, Hiith talks, Planar talks. It's like a ventriloquist act.
Precisely. It's a Radio 4 play.
Got to get NASA on this.
Planarwalk. I was just calling you up. Planner's up.
Oh yeah, I think I might have actually seen that flat earther on the flat earther we're responding to on TV, because I think this flat earther is a Warriors fan, and there's not many Warriors fans, and there's not many flat earthers, so
not many Warriors fans. Not many Warriors fans. It's a cult classic. I love Warriors.
It is, man.
I'm not talking about a movie or anything. I'm talking about the sports team.
Yeah, they're in a completely different league. You had to be from New Zealand to get that one.
Yeah, that was because Dead Kennedy in Space was going for the old novel, right? For sure.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised this fucking idiot can read.
Yeah, well, that's true, right? Holy.
And I have
what
to
do you say, guys? Shall we let it play a bit more?
I just wanted to point out, if not for his poor diction, he almost has like a decent TV voice. Like he kind of sounds like a guy who would narrate like a cold case kind of show.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, kind of.
Except he says things like, "I'm gonna look up the Antarctica."
Yeah.
Should we crack on with some more of his dumbass?
For sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
What I want you to notice right here is, notice how it says, the flights proved inland areas to be featureless in character with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Take a really, really close look at that. Now I'm going to zoom it in for you. When they returned to New Zealand, these flights proved the inland areas to be featureless in character with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Now,
I don't see anything that says the dome was above the fuckers, you idiot.
No, I mean, he's just said they've seen a dome of 13,000 feet. Now, you spoke about this in one of my videos, Jeff. So crack on.
Yeah.
The ice domes.
Yeah, I mean, these ice domes, they're part of a natural formation of a glacier, especially on extremely large ice shelves where there's an accumulation zone, and that all that ice gets compressed and pushed up, and they can get to be as high as the Rocky Mountains. But that's all they are. It's just compressed ice that have gone straight up as part of a normal geological or glacial formation. There's nothing surprising or new about that. I mean, flat earthers, these dumb shits, they think this is a freaking dome covering the earth. Bullshit.
Do you know also, in that what he's reading, he reads dome. If you go like 2 sentences below, he doesn't mention this, but it mentions the continent of Antarctica.
And that's only because Antarctica is the largest ice field or ice sheet in the world. So naturally, you're going to get these domes forming.
It makes perfect sense to me. Dead Kennedy needs in.
I'm going to say it's pretty clear that this dome only exists in the southern hemisphere, because for his 60th birthday, my dad went skydiving, and he jumped out of a perfectly good plane at 13,500 feet.
See that? And he didn't like bounce off it and just roll down the side like Will Smith in some lame action movie or something?
No, it didn't mention it. He did mention that he could almost see his house.
Planarwalk, you're up.
I just had a little bit of a search on Google Maps, and 80. So it was 80 degrees south and 90 degrees east.
I believe so. Yeah.
So that's below Singapore, and if we trace out a line from that on, and I don't know why they're going to New Zealand from there. Why wouldn't it be closer to Australia to stop off? If you look on the azimuthal equidistant projection, it's closer to Australia to stop off. So why are they going all the way to New Zealand? That would be a pretty long flight.
Wouldn't make a lot of sense, would it? You should check
No.
with your dad on that one, Planarwalk. See what he has to say.
It's almost like he's trying to prove the globe here, because that flight would make a lot more sense on the globe.
Yes. Absolutely.
Fake news.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you
yeah.
go. Well, then again, you know, in the average eye of a North American or Northern Hemisphere flat earther, Australia's fake. So there you go. They love their flat AE map, and it's on there. It's mutilated, but it's on there. I just never know what to say to these guys. It's so back and forth. It's so back and forth. Speaking of back and forth, should we play the video a bit more?
Yeah, let's crack on.
Sure.
If we have to.
Yeah.
Sense to you. Let me show you with an image of what a flat Earth map would look like. Now, this is what a latitude 80 degrees south would look like on a flat Earth map. As you can see, the dome comes down closer to you over the wall, which will be about 13,000 feet. Now, if you go back out into the center of the Earth, or up the North Pole, and try to go up to the firmament,
Where did he go?
calculation that's going to show that it's about 385,000.
Calculations.
What
He did
the
calculation.
fuck?
What calculations? Where did he get 385,000 feet from? What?
Out of his
That's just out of
ass.
nowhere.
Obviously.
Math?
Yeah. That was pathetic. That was absolutely pathetic. That filled my bowl. I need another one. That was a lot of word salad. I give me a second here, guys, because I have to get a fresh bowl. Fuck me.
Oh, that's the biggest pile of horseshit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh man.
Yeah, to quote Jeff Goldblum, that's one great big pile of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the biggest pile of fucking diarrhea dribble this side of Mombasa.
Yeah, but at least we're
man.
on the bright side, right? So we've got, what, 385,000 feet? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 117,000 meters. So that's 117 kilometers high. That gives us something predictable and something concrete to test. This gives us
Incidentally,
an
it's
idea.
also past the Kármán line.
Pete
It is-
Berube has put it is about 72 miles, 385,000 feet, 72
sorry,
miles.
Pete. I'm sorry, Pete. Work in SI units, please.
Yeah, I agree with AB science.
Learn to speak American.
I think Aimee needs in with a couple of comments. Speaking of comments.
Yes, I do, please. I have Forrest Pfeiffer wonders if they sent agents around all the charity shops and antiquarian bookstores to impound all of their stock of banned books. Mike
I saw
Bertelsmann-
We did that. He wasn't supposed to find out about that.
Yeah, oops. And happy birthday to Dead Kennedy in Space a day late, Mike says. And then Surf says, I just
Thank you.
watched one like this. It's friggin' topographical feature. And then Ugly German Truth says in his video has a bad quality, making him sound like one of those movies that want to feel older than they are, like Sky Captain or The Incredibles. And the land is a dome, Pete says. My pet says he jumped out of a plane at 17,000 feet. He didn't see any dome. Ugly German Truth said they needed oxygen masks and some bombers in World War II because they could fly very high up. I'd have to look up how high, but 5 miles is a safe bet, and that is already 25,000 plus feet. And then Ash Scott says still seems high. That's getting close to lightheaded territory if you get there quickly, like in a plane. For the 17,000 feet jump. And then Ugly German Truth said found it. The B-17 Flying Fortress had in 1943 a service ceiling of 35,600 feet, which is 10,850 meters. And Roger Rabbit said, I think normal was around 30,000 feet.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds
God, we
about
have the
right. And
best
you would
viewers.
definitely need, if you're not in a compressed, if the inside is not compressed, you would definitely need oxygen masks. Yeah, that's pretty close.
What height did that Felix, whatever his name is?
Oh,
Pretty high.
yeah.
I can't quite remember. I think it was about 120,000 feet. I'm very ashamed that I don't actually notice an SI unit.
It was 128,100 feet.
Dork, AB.
Wow. AB got monkeyed.
Yeah, but you know what? I've never really paid much heed to it. It was kind of cool, but
yeah,
all right. You're an idiot. You want to jump out?
I just thought like maybe one geek would be like, yeah, it was blah blah blah.
I mean, during the footage, they went through all the different ways in which he could die. If you're in that situation, maybe you should reevaluate your life decisions because it is clearly a stupid idea.
I mean, I tell you what, you can't see any dome in that footage.
Nope.
You can sure see some nice curvature though. Ooh, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, that's mainly because of the lens aberration to actually detect the curve at that height. You need some interesting analysis tools to actually analyze the footage to get the curvature. But guess what? I've done it.
I tell you what, do you know Wade's Underworld? We had him on a little while ago. He done a video recently where he said you don't look at the camera that's outside the capsule. There's one of him inside, and it's a normal camera. It doesn't move about. And he said you can actually, if it was a straight line, you can look out the door and you see like the horizon, and then there's a window on the side. And then he draws a straight line, and then on the side window, the horizon's dropped just a touch, which shows the actual curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, so you can detect it a little bit, but every lens will have some aberration. But you have Dwayne Kellum's rather famous, at least within the flat Earth community, you have his high-altitude balloon footage. And the flat earthers will go, oh, see, look, there's absolutely no curve. And even though there's very clearly curvature in the footage, but I actually did have a look at it, and some of the curve can be attributed to lens aberration. But when you control for that, it very clearly shows that there is curvature.
That's just your perspective.
But do you know why that is?
Yeah.
Because let me tell you why that is. Because there is fucking curvature, you stupid globe-denying fucktards.
Absolutely.
Should we crack on?
I love it. Yeah, let's let them dig this hole a little deeper.
Feet away. It's really, really simple, folks. Now, if you're not familiar with any of this at all, and you're just now new to all this, you can say, well, this guy is crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But what you got to ask yourself is, why do all the maps before 1958 show a flat Earth with the ice wall around it and a firmament, a dome? And why does the encyclopedia tell you that there's a dome there, and it gives you the exact height at a certain latitude and longitude? Well, the reason is because in 1958, that's when all governments and all nations of the world signed the UN treaty to ban all civilians from going to the Antarctica, and NASA came in and erased everything, just like their
Pause.
Absolute
Fuck this guy, so full of shit.
Oh, holy shit. All civilians being banned from going to Antarctica.
Bullshit. There's a tour company that runs cruises 3 times a year to the fucking place.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the name of that dude? What's the name of that dude who was on Joe Rogan's podcast really recently? Who walked across Antarctica?
I don't know. That would involve watching Joe Rogan.
Hey,
That was coming.
good show.
Oh, the guy's a fucking moron. Come on.
Of course he is, but his guests are interesting.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
all right.
I don't even have time to watch videos I want to watch, let alone shit I don't want to watch.
Also, I'd like to point out to this guy, I've got encyclopedias, maps, atlases, and that from before 1952, which all show Antarctica as a nice big continent covered in ice with no fucking dome on it.
Well, that's the thing. I know 4 people who work in my department who were involved in the Blast 2 liftoff. And yeah, they've They've got GPS tagged pictures of their trip there. It is pretty cool, but they are civilians.
That's right. Key point there.
Well, Amy's been waiting. We better get to her and our lovely audience. Amy, what's happening?
We've got some good comments here. 1 Minute Debunk says 385,000 at 0, 13,000 at minus 80. I'm thinking latitude and longitude lines here. That's not a dome. If it were 21,388 feet, it would be linear. So these figures suggest the dome is actually shaped like a giant nipple.
Well, we missed the nipple in the intro, so I mean, the nipple got in
so
somehow.
there we go. We got to get it in there. Vesta Freya says, stop using a salad bowl for that kind of word salad. Should start using a dumpster for that amount. And then Ugly German Truth says, also, if we are talking about 1950, there were the supersonic experiments in between. Bell X-1 had a maximum height of 35 to 36,000 feet. And Casual Spaceman says, the Shills, who is Planarwalk, and does he have any legs and nipples? Come to think of it, who the hell is the drunk monkey, and what does he look like? Effed up names on this show.
Who the fuck said that? I want to know.
Sarcastic Spaceman.
And then TC Lucas said,
That's it.
TC Lucas said, not to mention the U2 has a ceiling of 80,000 feet. Ugly German Truth says X-15 flew 102,100 feet in 1967, but the post I answered to was about the 1950s. And then Mike Bertelson says 2 minute Google search, and I found copies of both Encyclopedia Britannica and America from 1958 and every other year. An intellectually dishonest flurf. Say it isn't so.
Oh, I like it. I like it. We get some of the best comments I've ever seen. It's so cool. It's amazing. I love it. What do you think, guys? A little bit more of flurfical masturbation here?
Can I just say, I love that, like, there's a constant pattern with our comments, too. It's like, we play a bit of a video where someone pulls math out of their ass, and then our chat immediately pulls math out of reality.
There you go.
Can I just say the casual space dribble is like touting me in the chat here? What's all that about then?
Well, I think he wants to have a little go with the monkey, buddy. You might have to, stiffen up that tail and give him a little swag.
Yeah, man. Hard.
Just throw shit at him.
Yeah, like in the office.
If the dome's curve is linear, does that mean that the entire world is inside of a fucking dunce cap? Because I can believe it.
It's sure starting to seem that way.
I like how he says that he did calculations, but it didn't even take the time to actually try and work out the curvature of the dome.
Yeah. Oh, man. I was waiting for him to do something like, Oh, sorry, AB, go ahead.
I was just saying, considering that they're very obsessed with fucking curvature, they seem to, get it wrong. So, yeah, that works.
I was expecting him to pull out a pear and say, no, this is not the Earth, and pear-shaped, when they take that quote all wrong or something, but who knows? Maybe the fruit will still come out of it. Who knows? Tatty, what do you figure there, man? Let's roll a bit more of this filth.
Fucking roll it.
Pause. Yeah, we missed a pause there. There we go. Who called that one?
I did first. At least I believe I did. I hate this shit.
Yeah, you did.
I hate. Firstly, did it with the Truman Show. I like the Truman Show. I watched it and I loved it, but the fucking flat earthers spoiled it for me. And now they gotta act like they're part of the fucking Warriors too.
They're literally destroying the properties that we like. We have to fight back. We have to fight back here. You know, maybe we could use Waterworld as proof of a globe.
No. Waterworld should not be used for anything. But actually,
What, so in Waterworld, that is an entire ocean stuck to the globe.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's a fucking awful movie.
It's still awful.
I have said this in our private. I have said this in our private Discord. Quite a few times already. It's just. It's the whole red pill thing, right? And it's especially about the alt-right and all of those kind of men's rights activists and all of those people who are talking about being red-pilled. And it's like, I really want to see what happens when you explain to an alt-right nutcase, when you explain to them that the whole term red pill is actually a reference to a movie, The Matrix, which is produced and created and completely conceived by a bunch of LGBTQ activists.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
and
would
basically
really
it's
love
just
to
a
see.
term that was coined in a movie like bunny boiler.
Oh man, that's awesome. Dead Kennedy, you're up, man.
I just want to piggyback on what AB was saying. Not only do they seem to be unaware that the Wachowski brothers are now the Wachowski sisters, I don't think they know that The Matrix takes its plot from Plato's The Cave, i.e. the Greeks, the people who first did the math to prove the world is a globe.
Oh, and there's so many themes in that movie which kind of go against everything that they are saying. It's all about if you look at it, because they're talking about, take the red pill, you become human, you become self-aware. But actually, if you look at everyone who is red pilled, they become more machine-like throughout the movie, and it's actually the machines that become more human throughout the movies. And it's like, no, you've completely missed the whole point of the whole movie. But anyway, that's for a completely different topic. I could talk about this for ages, about the themes in this trilogy.
Oh yeah, we got a super chat in. We got a super chat in from the Casual Spaceman. £5. I still think that Planarwalk needs to prove he has legs and nipples. I'm not buying the Simon Dan deflection. The truth will come out. I like it. And Planarwalk, you're up, man.
Well, first off, to respond to that, I do have nipples, and you can see my nipples in a video. And I do have legs. You can see my legs in a video. And I don't know I can't remember what video I proved that I have legs. I'm pretty sure
it was
the one about
disturbing.
I have seen you prove your nipples.
So
man, where are we going?
It's CGI.
He showed me in the office. Look, come and have a look at my nipples.
Oh boy, we just got another super chat.
Man, I've touched Planarwalk's nipples. No one else has.
We just got another super chat, and I'd really like to read this one out.
Give her.
From Mr. Victory, $5. Thank you very much. Warriors, come out to play!
That was perfect. Well done.
I love it, man. I love it.
Get in there,
Warriors, come out to play!
I love it, man.
And the second thing that I wanted to say was about the basically about what Hiith brought up with them, basically ruining things. Like the first thing that they ruined for me was Californication.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Just leave the Chili Peppers alone. I mean...
My response to them using that song was always, I'm not going to take advice from heroin addict rock stars, and I don't think you should either.
Well, again, it's a fine example of they don't really understand the meaning of that song.
Not even close.
Dude, they're just on like a higher level. You gotta get on their level to understand.
I don't want to get onto their level because that's a disturbing thing, and I don't want to go there.
See, AB,
I'm scared of heights, so I refuse. That's
if you listen to the song while wearing Rowdy Piper's glasses from They Live, then you hear the song differently. You hear the higher level.
That makes sense.
Possibly.
There was also
Oh, you should have worn the damn kilt in that movie.
There was also a song "Lost in Hollywood" that a flirf that I know that I knew in real life really enjoyed. And it's like, I don't think you know the meaning of the song. It's not about flat Earth or anything.
Yeah, and also there are other System of Down tracks that you could take to, bring a more convincing anti-science thing, and even then, it's not really a convincing argument. But
Wait,
again,
I missed something. A System of a Down song is said to be a pro flat Earth song. What song?
no, it's not pro flat Earth. It's System. It's a song called Science. It's on the Toxicity album, and it talks about
nothing to do with flat Earth.
It has nothing to do with flat Earth. It just questions the role that science has to play in society, and whether our current scientific endeavors actually look to progress human society. Now, I completely disagree with the message of the song, but you know what? They're musicians and stuff like that. They've got to express their thing. Generally, System of a Down, their message, I'm completely on board with that, and it is a very good song. But,
it's a great song.
Oh, it's fucking excellent. The whole album is flawless. But
from start to finish, that album is great.
Oh yeah, it's one of the greatest albums ever made. But the particular message in that song, yeah, I don't agree with it. But and it does not support their point.
No. And speaking of does not support their point, should we backtrack to the video a bit and see what else the moron has to say?
Yes.
So what was going on?
We ain't even been to the Bronx before. No sweat. This conclave is going to be a real big item. Every gang in the city's going to be.
There's absolutely not another word on this video. It's the biggest absolute pile of fucking underwear that I've seen.
Oh, fuck. Stick that shit in the bin. Stick that shit in the bin. That was awful. Aimee, what do you got for us?
I've got some good comments again. I've got Inquisitive Quandary says the atmospheric conditions in the Arctic can cause optical illusions called temperature inversions. It makes objects appear to float or have domes or pillars. Forrest Pfeiffer says just put domes in Antarctica into Google. The first article tells you all about a 4,093 meter ice dome, Dome Argus. And this is a good one. Ugly German Truth says at Dead Kennedy in Space, while pulling things out of a rectum ends up always messy. Pushing truth up the denier's backsides, though, ends up satisfactory. And then Forrest Pfeiffer says, these ice domes clearly aren't hidden by NASA if they're on Wikipedia. And Roger Rabbit said, but I thought the sun over flat Earth was 3,000 miles up. This guy says the top of the dome is only 75 miles up. And Ugly German Truth says, is it true that the old Greeks had to invent philosophy and maths as their buttocks were needed in other ways so that they could no longer pull their worldview from them? So we've had some good comments.
Excellent.
Awesome. Logical Troglodyte.
Yeah, Aimee missed one by Dark Knight Apologetics. He said he doesn't want to climb to Mount Stupid. He likes being logical. Well, Dark Knight, if you really want to be logical, we're going to have to see what you look like in a leopard print kilt and make sure you really have the legs to pull that off.
And if you don't, I'll throw poo at you.
Oh, wow. So, thoughts. Let's see here. Who should we turn to for thoughts on that fucking disaster? AB, you want to give it a wrap up? What do you got for us?
I mean, overall, an earlier comment kind of springs to mind where, he's great for the narrator to some true crime stuff. It also has to do with the poor audio quality, which I cannot quite fathom why that audio quality is the way it is, considering that shit was uploaded only a couple of weeks ago. I cannot understand how the audio quality is that bad.
I thought it was like 5 years ago. It looks so bad.
Shit, dude. Well, I pressed the link and it's like, oh yeah, this is quite a recent upload from this motherfucker.
I thought it was recorded on fucking Betamax.
I mean, seriously, I hats off to him, because that is a really convincing lo-fi sound, and like Dick will, Dick will know that, where in music it is really difficult to get hold of a good lo-fi sound as a plugin. And fuck it, I want to know how this guy was recording the shit.
Maybe,
I'm wondering if Monkey doesn't have a point. Maybe it was looped back through an old VHF or a Betamax for you guys in the UK, and put back to digital, because it's phenomenal how old it sounds.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Really
I'm starting to think that maybe it's an elaborate satirical period piece.
That is only the music, and it could be played through a tape.
Unfortunately, that point is refuted by the rest of the content on his fucking channel.
Yeah, I have to note that I'm perfectly satisfied that I got a nose exhalation from Hiith for that.
Oh, right on. Let's see, Andy Flatter, you got anything you want to throw down at the end of that nonsense?
No, all I know is that today I am glad I'm wearing headphones, because that's stopping my brain from leaking out from watching that pile of dog shit.
No doubt, right? You probably have to have like a piece of rope tying them on really tight too, because wow, I feel it happening as well, buddy.
Hey, we'll put it this way. Fucking, I'd rather smell Jutmonk shit that comes out than the crap that we just put on.
Good point. And let's turn to our guest Hiith tonight here. What do you got for a wrap up on that? Is there even anything you can vocalize?
Hardly. I think they should just stick to like their own media. Like, they don't get the Warriors, they don't get the Truman Show, they don't get Californication. They have Conspiracy Music Guru. Stick to that. All right.
Yeah.
No,
that's a good point.
I'd like to say something on that, because I didn't. I mean, that is absolute classic cherry picking, and I see it in the chat as well. Classic cherry picking, globe denial, pushing bollocks. I mean, this deceitful little scumbag has just read a couple of lines in a fucking Britannica encyclopedia from 1958 in a public library where you can't find it anywhere because it's been banned by the US government. So how the hell he found the only bloody library in the world, but he just happened to still have one on the shelf? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know?
They contradict themselves.
Dumb as fucktard.
Yeah, they contradict themselves with it. It's an absolute joke, man. Logical Troglodyte.
Babes just tried to tell me that this guy's video was partially my fault, because for months now I've been telling the twat waffles and the wink spanners to put down the freaking video cameras and pick up a goddamn book. But you know what? I'm not taking responsibility. His reading comprehension has dick to do with me. No offense, Dick. It's not my fault that he wants to take one word out of context and try to make it mean something that it didn't mean. Any fourth grader in 1958 knew that when it said dome, it was talking about a topographical formation and nothing in the goddamn sky. You know, if in the 21st century, that's the depths that we have sunk to intellectually, we really need to rethink our educational system.
And can I just add, right? He also says that NASA are erasing everything. What the fuck?
Yeah.
NASA
Can you imagine manpower?
NASA are... This isn't even... They're not even thinking about this shit. They're planning the moon missions and everything else they're going to be doing in space. They're not thinking about a dome in Antarctica that has just been confused by some idiot in a library high on drugs.
Hey, there's
It's
nothing
true.
wrong with taking drugs in the library, yeah?
Oh, I agree with that. You just have to make sure you read the right material.
Precisely.
I know that. I'm not
And,
saying
we
that,
got,
but, I mean, if you're gonna take drugs, don't make a video.
Yeah. Well, at least wait till you're like, back to normal. Holy. Dead Kennedy in space.
Two things. First, in response to what Jutmonk said, obviously, you missed this book, and you both missed the famous 1958 library purge, where NASA snuck into all the libraries late at night and took all the books. Yeah, obviously. But second, because Hiith mentioned Conspiracy Music Guru, I hate this about myself. I made a video about that guy, and because of that, I will always remember, welcome to the satellite hoax, just another one of them NASA jokes. You can't find me a picture of a satellite without bringing up some of that CGI.
Well,
Why would you do that to us, man?
At least we have
do
rhyming
to make you
scheme
do
is
that
on
to
point.
us?
That's some quality flat Earth media. That's theirs.
At least
This
we
is
have to
our
look on
humor.
we have to look on the bright side. Is that at least Mr. Cheswick is no longer doing the flat Earth thing?
Yeah.
There's that.
I mean,
That
he's
is a
still
good
an
point.
asshole, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's turn to Stephen Cup
for Mr.
reason.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my dislike of Mr. Cheswick actually kind of just transcends him being a flat earther. It's just an asshole. But
Yeah.
that's all.
Absolutely agreed 100%. Stephen Cup of reason.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't seem to remember that we were sending rockets up into space before then. I mean, think about the Mercury program.
Yeah.
Now, if there was a dome and a rocket the size of the Apollo Saturn V hit that fucking thing, it would ring like the biggest fucking gong ever, and the entire planet would be stone fucking deaf. Come on.
Exactly. That's
Hear
a
about
really
the
good
deafening?
point.
Didn't hear about
sorry.
the deafening of 1969.
Yeah, but that was caused by Woodstock, I think.
I was just going to say, yeah, that came out of the farmer's field.
Yeah, that was Jimi Hendrix playing the national anthem.
Oh, that's a good one. Who haven't we heard from yet? Planarwalk, what's your wrap up on the thoughts of that? Well, I don't even know if I can call it a video, that spew of crap that came out of that guy.
My thoughts. Why is it that flat earthers like to make half their video something that they make and the other half of their video something that they didn't make?
That's a good point.
It's a bit, I think it's just that if they bring something else in, anything else in, then just on average their video is better than if it was just them saying what they think sounds smart.
It's true too. I mean, literally for most of them, just a simple, nice jazz piano track and a black screen would be, way more interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Is anyone else left wanting for maybe I can't fucking stand it, but just a good sleeping warrior video where it's just some bullshit and it's straight to the point. It's insufferable, but nonetheless, it doesn't fuck about.
The water is boiling again.
I was gonna say, man, I am really, really concerned for your mental well-being if you're asking for Sleeping Warrior video.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's kinda
they're straight to the
disturbing.
point. They're very simple production-wise. It's fucking
Simple is an
batshit
understatement.
crazy, but at least there's no fucking flat Earth rapping or anything like that. So that's a win for me.
I like that totally. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
A win for me was when Daniel Pratt pulled all his content, but it's back. Oh, God.
Oh yeah.
Well,
But,
I'm just worried that Dead Kennedy's water is boiling again.
I just
maybe we should throw some ice in there, put some salt around the rim, and we can call them Dead Margarita in space.
I'm gonna have for some margaritas. I'm pretty fucking hammered, so why not?
But it's just because now when I hear Sleeping Warrior in my head, what I hear is obviously the heliocentric model is inherently political. It's inherently obvious.
It's inherently. Oh God! You see, I don't envy you for actually going through the paper because I've had a look at it and it's like, oh God, the legal argument is so poor.
It's so weak. He had a debate about it, and you might be interested in watching this, AB, because it's not as insane on your brain as most of them, because it's basically just Riley trying to connect heliocentrism to the word political, and he can't do it. For an hour and a half, he can't do it.
Well, that's the thing. It's a classic flat Earth thing, right? Because and actually, I think I put this on Steaming Cup of Reason's channel, where where I said it's like, well, they start with a premise and they reach a logical conclusion, and the logical conclusion is correct, provided that the premise is correct. And the premise is just wrong, because he just says, yeah, it's a political argument, because the whole premise is around political arguments, and they have to be presented in a balanced way. But this is not fucking politics. And
it's worth pointing out that the case he's inspired by wasn't about climate change like he thinks it was. He was interpreting climate change as a political topic. No, Al Gore's film An Inconvenient Truth was a political topic. That's what that case was about.
Yeah, precisely. It's Al Gore's particular representation of the issues and how, and whether that was being taught as truth. But yeah, the rest of the paper, he tries to present it as, because that's the issue he has to do, right? He has to, for his argument to be correct, he first has to show that the premise is correct, and that is that one of the premises is correct, and that is that flat Earth is an actual political issue. Now, that is problematic. So he tries to prove that. He tries to show that, and that's a very important point, that there is a genuine controversy around the topic. And if there is a genuine controversy, then it shouldn't be taught in any particular way. And he tries to demonstrate that with just an awful demonstration of ignorance. I counted through his entire paper, I think he's put in 17 references. Now, in the section alone that I actually had a look at, which actually deals with the science stuff, all the legal stuff I ignored, I encountered 50, that's conservative, but yeah, 50 cases where he should have cited a peer-reviewed study, where he didn't. And to put that in context, in the latest paper I published, I cited 40 within the first paragraph.
Sounds about right.
Whoa.
Holy. We got a couple of people waiting a long time to get in here. Logical Troglodyte.
Actually, I'd like to see if we can get Anthony Riley on the show one of these days, because I do have a legal question that I think he is eminently qualified to weigh in on. The guy that just made this last video, he's a flat earth gentleman living his flat earth life, married to his little flat earth wife. If they get mad at each other and decide to divorce, are they still cousins?
Oh man! Oh,
I love it.
My sister is my mama too.
Aimee Hogan, what have you got from our wicked cool viewers?
We've got some good ones here. Sky Wizard List says, I've seen more signs of intelligence in a rancid puddle of monkey puke. The Casual Spaceman says, Planarwalk's legs video is CGI, ether band, inferior mirage, perspective, stop lying. Oh, and don't our fans in the chat know their shit, right? And Chris O says, the German V2 reached 128-mile maximum altitude if launched vertically. Otto von Skidmark says, Flurf logic looks like shit, smells like shit, tastes like shit. It's my mom's cooking. At 9 o'clock, Hero says, if you use flat earth science and logic, Kirk and Spock prove space. And Vesta Freya says, how many videos can we stand of D. Pratt chained to the water heater like production quality? Roger Rabbit says, on July 9th, 1962, at 0900 Coordinated Universal Time, the Starfish Prime test was successfully detonated at an altitude of 400 kilometers, which is 250 miles. Forrest Pfeiffer says, the judge in the case he cites specifically said that scientific arguments are not political. And Gem Panda 2012 did an excellent long video about the whole thing, including the bit where FE Corps were going to pay for Riley's lawyers to get Flat Earth into schools.
Ooh.
Well, good fucking luck to them, because they might promise to pay for the lawyers, but can you imagine the conversation when you know, there's always an initial scoping conversation with the solicitor. Yes, Mr. Legal Expert, I want to make a case to get Flat Earth taught in school.
Oh man, I'll tell you something.
I think that's the very definition of a frivolous case.
Yeah, I'll tell him something. If a principal in my school comes to my fucking classroom with a pile of books on flat earth and says, you got to start teaching this to your kids, I'm going to teach my kids, all right, how to fucking burn that goddamn book.
Hey, that's an excellent lesson in thermodynamics.
There you go.
Like Forrest Pfeiffer had a good comment. The judge in the case he cites, going on about what's his nuts there, specifically said that scientific arguments are not political.
Well, absolutely. But that goes into the whole discussion of things, right? Yeah. Okay. Aside from that, but it's the whole kind of it's the whole thing they do around fallacies and stuff like that, right? Because fallacies have no place in science. Fallacies are completely irrelevant because, fallacies apply to the structure of a logical argument and all of that. But all of that becomes completely irrelevant because actually you start testing shit. Right, and that's the same case. It's like, yeah, you can have your political ideology and stuff like that, but then science comes in and goes, yeah, let's test that shit, and everything becomes irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. There was a great comment I got to pull out here from 9 o'clock Hero. Riley's paper reminds me of a job application I made for a job I didn't want but had to apply for.
Yeah. It's like that interview scene in Trainspotting where the guy he has to go to the interview because it's part of his welfare program, but he has to flunk the interview basically.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because in the UK you have that job seekers thing where you have to apply.
That's right.
As long as you apply, you're off the hook. It doesn't matter if you get the job or not. It's all good.
And Tatty should do the accent, really. He goes, gives him some speed, doesn't he? He goes, a little dab of speed, just a ticket.
That's a very ticket, like,
Huh?
Oh, we got a super chat in. We got a super chat in from the Casual Spaceman. £5. Thank you very much, sir. Is that real skin under AB Science's beard, or is it one of the, or is he one of the 33 number lizard men? Conspiracies.
I will never tell.
Maybe 33 needs to pee might be correct after all.
Do you know, I thought there was a song in that somewhere.
Yeah, there
Well,
might be, there just might
33
be.
needs
Need
to
to pee.
pee.
Tra-la-la-la.
After all.
33
So-
need to pee.
Dead Kennedy's up.
I just want to point out really quickly, Jutmonk, your friend, is it cause I is flat, is in the chat, and
Is it cause I is flat? It's not fucking flat, bruv.
it's not, bruv. But also, he wants to know why the moon landing footage looks so CGI. I want to know.
In
I
what
want to know
sense
why
does it
he
look
thinks
CGI? Ask him. I don't know, because it doesn't look
He won't say.
CGI to me.
he
It
won't
looks
say.
like old
but,
footage.
but also, what CGI in 1969 again?
Yeah,
It wasn't, was
exactly.
it? It was CGI.
They didn't
was a
have
thing of the
CGI.
future.
Not even close. I mean, there was a comment that got missed there I wanted to bring up. Mike Bertelson tagged Dead Kennedy in Space specifically with this one. I was arguing with a guy in a forum that insists that NASA had Photoshop in the 50s and only allowed the technology to be released years later.
Oh, bullshit.
Oh my word.
That's a classic
How did they
argument,
find
right?
out about Aimee?
They make that classic argument that the military usually has technology before the general public does. And that's true, but to imply that NASA had Photoshop in the 1950s and only released it later, that's a big jump there.
Well, actually, it's not
Jesus.
entirely true. Generally, it is academia that has access to the technology
That's
well
true, yeah.
before.
Look,
The military only really comes in the real advancements when they want to actually make
Win a
it into
war.
a usable thing.
Yeah.
Generally, if academics go, no, that's not possible, then the military will go, no, we're not doing a thing with that. It is only when we go, oh yeah, this is an interesting idea, we could explore this. It's only at that point when the military starts going, yeah, here, have some money.
Yeah.
I served
It really
New
isn't
Zealand
that
military.
exciting. It really
I
isn't that
served with the New
exciting.
Zealand military, mate. Sticks and stones are more fucking advanced than what we've got.
Yeah, okay, but where's your empire? But that's the thing, right? It's the military is like, yes, they have got access to technology which is a little bit more advanced to what is available on the consumer market. Without a doubt, that is true. But when academics go, no, that technology doesn't exist, then yeah, it doesn't.
Unless you were in NASA in the 50s, I don't think you can say that they didn't have advanced Photoshop back then.
Yeah, but that's the
All
thing, right? You got to remember that NASA, at its core, in what they did in launching shit to space, that was an engineering project. It wasn't a
that's what they want
science
you to-
project.
That's what they want you to think.
Oh yes, of course, that's the classic argument. That's what they want you to think. But
You're just
yeah,
buying into
it
their
is.
cover-up.
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. Their cover up, it's all around us.
Now, we've got a little video that's not a Flurf video to play, but we have a little video that just has to be shown to everybody. Tatty, do you have that one ready?
Yep, locked and loaded and ready to go.
All
Can I
right, let's
just
pull
do
it
a
up,
quick
man.
shout out?
Yeah.
I just want to shout out the Route 8 crew, Harley, Sylvester, and I don't even know if Emin bothered to pop in. Perhaps he's still grounded, but they'll know who they are. I work with these guys, and I've seen them in the chat.
Okay, cool. Right on. Awesome. Awesome. I wasn't sure what Route 8 was, but now I know. Awesome. Right
Yeah.
on. So, yeah, Tatty, kick that video in. Let's see it.
Curve Space Cowboy. And that's this from me, and this is just a big thank you from all your subscribers. Keep up the good work, mate. All the best.
That was awesome.
That is
Fuck yeah, it was
totally cool. Awesome. And who wants to take the little I guess it's DeadKennedyInSpace's turn right now, isn't it?
I'm a little speechless. That's really cool. I can't thank Gary enough for that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm speechless.
Yeah, let's get Gary's link in the side chat. Go check him out, folks. This guy's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's a super supporter of the community. Fantastic guy. Gary Graham, that's correct, isn't it? Please tell me I didn't just screw that up.
That's right.
Awesome. Perfect. Logical Troglodyte, you're up, buddy.
DeadKennedyInSpace, the official glasses. Contact Gary Graham because everyone deserves a little head now and then.
I love it. Aimee, what's happening on the chat side of life over there?
We've got some good ones. Mr. Victory says the only one thing to say about ancient CGI NASA, space, comma. Mike Bertelson says that is so fucking cool. I want that machine. Pete Ruby says that is badass, and the etching is pretty cool too. Mike Bertelson said again, and Beach 8 said so cool. Everybody really liked that machine. That was awesome.
That was totally cool, yeah. And I think it really got DeadKennedyInSpace there, too. Never heard him speechless. That was absolutely incredible. Gary, you're a superstar, man. Right on. Totally cool. So what do you guys think? Should we queue up a little bit more flurf?
Fucking
Yeah, why not?
Let's
Why
do
not? Why not?
All right. I don't even remember what the second video is at this point, people. We know it's going to be horse dribble and bullshit. So, Tatty, if you want, just cue it on up and let's do it.
Once again, folks, hold on to your hats. This one could be painful.
At its core, Agenda 21 is about control. Control over land, natural resources, and entire populations. It seeks to control the air by regulation of carbon emissions, the ground by sustainable development, and the sea through environmental regulations. Officially stated, Agenda 21 is a comprehensive plan of action to be taken globally, nationally, and locally by organizations of the United Nations system, governments, and major groups in every area in which human impacts on the environment. Because being human will always have an impact on the environment, Agenda 21 paves the way for extraordinary UN control. When you boil...
Oh, God.
Oh,
go ahead, Ted Kennedy.
Oh, God.
My head hurts. So, okay, first of all, every time anyone has ever proposed the idea of a world government, it's failed completely because people don't want it, and it won't happen. Also, is that like a text-to-speech thing? That doesn't sound like a real voice. It sounds like a fucking number station.
I think it is a real voice because now I don't think it's in the video itself. I'm pretty sure that. Because there's a few things. I've seen this video before. I have looked into this video before. I've responded to this video before.
Okay.
See, that's just cheating.
Yeah, most of us actually watch these things first time round when it's live, but all right.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a real. I'm pretty sure it's a real person. I'll give away the secrets right at the end. How about that?
You do that.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome.
I'm fucking speechless when it comes to this. I am so infuriated by the whole Agenda 21 thing.
Conspiracy cats pretends to be a cat. What a total dumb.
Hold up. What I'll do real quick is I'm just going to turn on my camera so that everyone can see exactly what I'm doing here. Here we go.
He's got his foil hat.
You're gonna get your nipple out again.
Not quite.
All right,
there we go.
Do you think most conspiracy theorists have
Ready. Now he's
that
ready.
sound-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Do you think most conspiracy theorists have voices that sound like robots, or is that just me?
Actually, quite a few do.
Yeah.
They have that. They have that. There's no real intellect going on behind the eyes sort of tone.
ODD TV has that vibe.
Yeah.
I tell you what. Imagine being like married to him, or him being your father, and you go outside, and it's like, he's taking you to school, and he's like, "Hang on a minute, Doc, get inside. There's a plane up there. We're gonna get fucking chemtrail to fuck. Hide, fucking cover." And then, then you're gonna go for kid's gonna go for a glass of water, and it's like, "Don't drink the water. There's water in the fridge. That's why I buy it from a bowl. You can't drink that water. That will dumb you down and absolutely control you, and then you won't know fucking reality from your own asshole."
That was amazing. That was an awesome job.
That monkey. Love that
Did I
monkey.
say that out loud?
Fuck me. The zookeeper's gonna have to clean that mess up. Jesus Christ.
Oh my
So
god.
I've got to move out in 2 days, so fuck the neighbours.
Clean up on aisle 3. A monkey took a dump.
Oh, too funny. Awesome. Well, what do you say, guys? A little bit more BS for the sake of BS?
Before we do, can I just want to read a comment from Chris Katsolis, who said, ODD TV, Dubé, and Phuket all speak in a tone and cadence that puts me to sleep. And to that, I have to say, hello, Globe debaters, researchers, and debunkers.
Well, no, actually, that.
I want
that's
to
a
fly to
very good
America
point.
and punch you for that.
That's a very
Can
good
I read
point.
a comment
Fuck
out?
it, we are absolutely overrunning, but it is that tone of voice which is. I think it's almost by design. I mean, I know that Eric Dubé is a fucking yoga instructor, right? So he is trained to talk in that kind of voice and
to do the ASMR voice.
Yes, it's the ASMR voice, and it is purely designed to put you in a relaxed and very susceptible state, so you believe everything that anything sounds.
Stop talking out of your fucking ass.
I don't know about you guys. That didn't put me to sleep or relax me. That actually got me kind of excited. Do it again, AB.
Just grab for the club a reason, AB. Careful what you say.
Oh yeah, baby.
Can I read a comment out?
You're not gonna get hard on if I carry on this far.
Eventually, after we've hypnotized the entire planet.
Yes, absolutely, monkey. You play with that table.
I think we're driving our chat insane.
Yeah. I can see pitchforks outside my door here, so Oh, they're lighting the torches, guys. Come on, seriously.
Want some of this.
I think we need to get on with the video to stop AB.
Well, Forrest Pfeiffer said, "Did anyone warn Hiith about the monkey?"
I doubt it.
Did you fucking send in the memo or what?
You're just a sexy surprise at the end, mate.
Too funny.
That is all for the after show. That's all for the after show where you get really freaky with your tail. I mean,
Love it, don't you, mate?
exciting.
Remember that time when I kept tapping you on the shoulder and then like rubbing you up, like, and you thought it was that bird, and then you fucking went for her and she slapped you in the face. That was hilarious, man. And then like
on the shoulder
you was
with
like,
your hand,
"Oh,
but
blame
you
it on
get
the
freaky
monkey," and
with your
she thought you
tail.
was an idiot because I'd already dashed. She didn't even know you had a monkey with you. She thought you was weird.
Yeah, I know, but monkeys and everything.
Yeah.
No, they didn't tell me shit
Good
about
night,
the monkey.
though, bro.
I just rolled right in and jumped me, as monkeys do.
You know when they say monkey do, this monkey say what he want and don't do what he do and should do and don't do.
Huh. Jesus.
Come on then, you lot, pull yourself together.
Yeah,
well, you
I
have to remember, Monkey, that we actually had to reclaim you from a person in a pub who just left the pub with you in tow and go, does he belong to you guys?
We're all hiding our faces going, what? Me? No.
No, head in the sand, man. Head in the sand. Absolutely no way. Oh man. Okay, little video there, Tatty. Let's see what he's got to say, or let's see what this has to show us. Or
Yes.
I don't even know what to say. Fuck, I hate this crap sometimes.
There are 9 basic tenets of Agenda 21. Move citizens off private land and into urban housing. Create vast wilderness spaces inhabited by large carnivores. Eliminate cars and create walkable cities. Support chosen private businesses with public funds for sustainable development. Make policy decisions that favor the greater good over individuals. Drastically reduce the use of power, water, and anything else that creates carbon pollution. Use bureaucracies to make sweeping decisions outside of democratic processes. Increase taxes, fees, and regulations. And finally, implement policies meant to incentivize a reduced population.
This equation has 4 factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to 0. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average.
You're kidding me. First of all, did that say a TED show or a TEDx show?
I think it's a TED show.
TV.
Okay, because TEDx shows are worthless, but
so what TED shows? Come on.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I'm actually preparing for a TED show that I may do soon, but yeah,
Oh, nice.
They're fucking worthless.
But also, this is hilarious, honestly, because a couple of those points are just plain positive, like reducing carbon impact and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea of this equation where people are put in as like it's very Soylent Green. It amuses me.
Well,
yeah.
if you watch
it's all multiplication as well. So one of those factors has to be 0.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That can't happen. It is silly. No, it is absolutely bullshit. And
I'll tell you what I think about
already
it.
said earlier.
This video is absolutely wank. And that's all I've got to say.
Aren't
It's
they all?
complete and utter wank.
We better turn to Aimee. She's got some comments from the viewers. Aimee.
Yes, I've got some more good ones. Ugly German Truth says, UN control? The UN is basically useless. If nobody wants to give them soldiers, they have no way to implement anything. And, yeah, that's a stupid monkey says Agenda 21 is CGI because it has to be. And yeah, they've got some good ones. And Otto von Skidmark said the Shills, has Joseph Goebbels been resurrected to produce this shit?
I mean, so when it comes to Agenda 21, I've got to hold myself back a little bit because otherwise this would be a very boring show. But Agenda 21 is a good thing, right? In what possible fucking universe can anyone imagine that education, equal rights and sustainability and us not fucking up the planet is how is it possible that anyone thinks that that's a fucking bad thing?
Look, dude,
No kidding.
Because they're trying to control your mind, man.
You took the words
fucking
right out of my
voluntary.
fucking mouth. It's all about control. It's all
It
about
is a
saying this
voluntary
is it
program.
because we're controlling you. No, not because it's for the fucking good of mankind and for the future of our children. No, nothing like that. Not trying to work out what we should do to just make, put the brakes on the damage we're doing and trying to correct the mistakes we've made. No, it's all about controlling us and fucking for what? You dumb fucktards.
it is
Wake up, you fucking idiots.
It is a fucking voluntary program that your democratically elected representatives can sign up to, right? It is not being forced onto you. Right? It is a completely voluntary program. Every government in the world can go, yes, I want to sign up to this. This is something that I want my nation to do. And these representatives that speak for your nation are accountable to your democratically elected fucking leader.
As it is right now. This is just the first step. This is just the first step until we no longer have a say. The UN is in control, and then they fucking kill us because we're overpopulated or some shit. I don't know. I need another fucking drink. I'll be back.
And suddenly we're living next.
Okay, there is a population control bit in there. There's a population control bit in there, and it's not population control in a sense. It's talking about reducing the population, and that is very achievable, and it's a very good thing. And you know how this population can be reduced, and it's not by
Proper
killing
education
people
and
off.
birth control.
It's just by
Negative population growth.
Yeah, precisely. Negative population growth, just by educating people and empowering people to be better human beings, to be
to think of everyone, to see it
be
from
more
the outside
accountable
and see
to
the whole
themselves.
thing. Yeah.
And to have more control over themselves. And this is exactly everything that the fucking conspiratards will talk about. It's like, oh, these are the people that will oh shit, I'm really going down a fucking rabbit hole here. But the conspirators will, oh, you can't think of yourself. But then there's a program which is very clearly designed to get people to empower themselves and become more responsible for themselves and the impact they have on the society and the people they have around them. And then they're going, no, we can't have that. We've got to dumb people down. This is... no, okay, I'm going to stop now because I said I was going to get fucking angry about this.
Yeah, and here it comes. We got a couple lined up here. Logical Troglodyte.
Yeah, these conspiracy theorists act like this is something fucking new. It isn't. It's 27 years old. It was written in 1992, and as AB said, it was perfectly voluntary. It's non-binding. But the conspiracy theorists would have us believe that the world's governments are marching us off to relocation centers, that they're marching our elderly and handicapped into euthanasia centers. None of that is happening. What the hell is wrong with these people? Yes, they addressed overpopulation. Yes, they addressed carbon footprints. Yes, they addressed the urban developments. But what is wrong with that? Like AB said, what are the good things that has come out of Agenda 21? Oh, I don't know. Wind power, solar farms, more fuel efficient vehicles, more fuel efficient furnaces and air conditioning units. What the fuck is wrong with these people? This is not a fantasy story. This is not a science fiction story. This is reality. As a species, yes, we are damaging the planet. And yes, we fucking need to address it. And if that means stop fucking for a little bit until your birth control pills kick in, so fucking be it.
I agree. I agree.
Excellent. Planarwalk, what do you got, buddy?
So there's a few things in that video which I do not understand. Like the second point, I can't find anything about it in the Agenda 21 document, and that is create large wilderness spaces inhabited by large carnivores. It's like, what?
I know. What was that? I remember that line too. Where was it? And there was just nothing afterwards. Like, are they bringing back saber-tooth tigers? What's the deal?
That'll be
here?
awesome. That'll be awesome. But have you not realized that there are large wilderness spaces occupied by large carnivores? And you know what those large carnivores are called? Fucking human beings.
That's a good one.
Point.
But then there's also... Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, then there's also the other points like walkable cities. Yes, walkable cities are good. I like being able to walk to the supermarket and not have to, get in a car, pay for petrol to go there. It'd be nice if it was always sunny, but,
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic, right? I live a 5-minute walk away from a supermarket, which allows me to get anything. I live a 5-minute walk away from any restaurant of any nationality that I can think of. I live a 10-minute walk away from work. I do not need a car. And you know what? It's fucking fantastic not having to sit in traffic every morning. Who could have a problem with that?
That's because you're a product of the government. Like, it's something just so empowering to be able to drive for like an hour to work every day and then drive back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the government's taking that from
exactly what. The government is absolutely taking that possibility away by making sure that there's affordable housing near my place of work. And I do not have the privilege of experiencing the joy that is involved in sitting in traffic in the morning.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm damn near 60. I got a bad hip, and I don't look forward to having to walk 10 fucking miles to get to my goddamn job every morning.
Yeah, but you still got the minerals to call a dumbass fucktard flirt a dumbass fucktard flirt, and I respect you for that.
Well, thank you, brother.
Dead Kennedy in space been waiting. What do you got, buddy?
First of all, and I hate to say this, but it is the ultimate counter argument to everything we're saying right now. This is all commie bullshit. that is what the counter argument would be.
You must be careful what you say about communism.
Sorry, Yuri.
Damn right, DeadKennedyInSpace.
Egos are coming out.
But the second thing, the whole areas with large carnivores thing, when I saw that in the video, my brain immediately started playing dun, 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 dun.
Not to mention the fact that it's already been accomplished. Banff National Park is 800 square kilometers of nothing but deep forest full of big carnivores called bears.
Yeah, I'm Canadian. 4/5 of our country is a big open wilderness full of carnivores and stuff, man. What the hell?
Yeah.
Well,
and as far as population control is concerned, they've tried that in China with legislation where families were limited to one child. And that caused a whole shitload of problems because people were having daughters and they wanted sons. If I can only have one kid, I want it to be a boy. Because in the Asian culture, boys are king.
Yeah. So that's for limited regions in Asia. But just going back to the carnivores things. So here in the UK, we have some issues around wildlife, and it's actively encouraged to hunt deer and things like that, just for venison and everything. But one of the key thing is, and why that is even encouraged from a conservation perspective, is basically the fact that certain animals no longer have natural predators, and that is not healthy for the population. So, we have deer, for example, which if it weren't for humans hunting it, and because we've managed to drive all the wolves to extinction, their population just gets out of control, and disease and everything. It just really upsets the ecosystem.
Absolutely. We have different programs like that going on around my area all the time, depending on, they monitor the predator population, they monitor the prey population. And, if we've got an abundance of predators and not enough prey, they'll hand out a few more tags to the hunters that year and, try to keep a balance. This is human beings doing it, so I'm sure they're getting it wrong, but they're trying.
Yeah,
but
I know
they're trying.
You know what Aimee just said? When I used to live out in Norway, there's a pack of wolves, basically, that they know of, and they are extremely rare now, where they've been pushed to the brink of extinction, and they keep track of them and, hope they do well. But, when you're pushing them down to a handful of animals within area, that's terrible.
Yeah, I'm completely against hunting and everything, but there has to be some kind of control in the population to ensure the welfare of the species. And in lieu of us, bringing back wolves to actually address these issues, then, what can we do? And, I'd much rather have wild wolves and large carnivores roving around to ensure that, the population is kept in check and, the ecosystem is in balance again. But until we do that, then, what's the solution?
Well, that's just what they want you to think.
Yes, Karen, that is what they want me to think.
Oh, that was funny, man. Good one. Aimee, what's the viewers got to say there? How's it going?
We've got some good ones. Shadow Falcon says, "What's wrong with walkable cities? Or are some of these conspiraboos just fat Yanks who can't be bothered to walk?" DKG Custom says, "I'm surprised they don't say the government is promoting homosexuality." And then Rune Thorsen said, the thing about the whole climate change debate is that whether it's man-made or not is irrelevant. Most of the solutions suggest we should do in any case. Nobody opposes clean local energy sources." And Glober Mom says, "We have mountain lions in my part of Northern California because we live in their territory." And then Ugly German Truth says, "Once you are past 1 billion people in one country, you already are in several sorts of deep shit. Messing it up with misguided population control policies is the least of your problems."
I agree with
Rock and roll.
That's a very good one. Yeah, that's a very good one indeed. So, we didn't get too far into that because let's face it. I only had 4 oven mitts handy and I'm already through them. So, I don't want to start banging my head on the desk again. I just bought this one from the last episode we did, right? Oh, killing me. So why don't we go around the room and get some thoughts, because we've had a lot of good discussion here as well, and see what everybody's thinking. Let's go to our special guest Hiith here first. That's a bunch of nonsense. Like, these guys have got it so wrong, it's brutal. What are your thoughts?
I signed up for flat earth stuff, and then you pull out this.
Sorry, pal. But either fucking like it or fucking lump it, mate. Right? This is the Shills. We don't fucking get no control. We have to fight to get our fucking shield checks, for fuck's sake. They just send us this crap in the post and we have to play it, alright?
They send videos in the post. I don't fucking...
Fucking Betamax as well. Do you imagine how hard it is having to go around to charity shops to find a fucking Betamax because they thought it would be safe that no one else would be able to fucking play it? We can't play it. Send it digital, you dumb fucks. But they can't, can they?
And the bloody pigeons are NASA.
Fucktards. NASA is deleting everything.
And this is why we don't need the monkey near anything shiny.
Oh, sharp.
Well, you know what? I'm all for it. Just pump all the fluoride in the water, put all the chemtrails in the sky. I don't give a shit.
There you go.
I agree.
Go big or go home, right?
Absolutely.
Well, little fun fact: there's actually been this thing that's proposed, which a lot of chemtrailers are saying is proof of chemtrails, and it's spraying aerosols about 20 kilometers up in the sky to reflect sunlight to raise the albedo of the planet.
Yeah, okay, but that's the thing. And geoengineering, okay, it is a thing, and it is something that we should be concerned about because, you know, it's a bit unproven and it's a bit difficult, but that is not fucking chemtrailing.
No, it's bollock trailing.
Yeah, well, where I live, they're doing this thing where we used to have this beautiful creek, like a river going through the town. And years back, they did all that stupidness where they, you know, turned it into a canal or whatever, a channel, and they cemented it and everything. And now they're putting it back to the way it was originally because everybody knows it was a dumb idea. And, you know, as much as humans like to think that we've always got this geoengineering in tow and we're good, man, we get it wrong so often, and it's not funny, right? I mean, you know, dams killing fish habitats. Oh man, we're great at it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, we there's a lot of talk around geoengineering, and it is quite an interesting topic because we have got several different ways on how to kind of reverse the effects of climate change, but then there are several moral issues, right? We can we can actually do things to dump a lot of carbon into the ocean, but that would result in algal blooms and a lot of problems there. So then the question is, do we build massive tanks into the desert and stuff like that? And do we allow it to happen there? Then we have massive engineering issues. And then with geoengineering, we have the we do have ecological problems because it's all about carbon sequestration, and we stick that carbon somewhere, and you have to think about what the impact of that carbon has on an ecosystem. And then we go, all right, well, the simple answer is, well, we can stick it all in the desert and we can do something there, but then we neglect the fact that deserts are actually important parts of our ecosystem as well, and we run into really big problems. And the geoengineering issue it's very difficult and it's very concerning because at the surface is this kind of whole sequestration, injecting chemicals into the stratosphere to change the albedo of the planet. It may look all right, but quite frankly, it is pretty questionable. And can we make things worse with it? And is it likely that we make things worse? And
well, I've got a question. I mean, obviously, as climate change gets worse, and obviously the ice caps are melting, I mean, at an alarming rate at some points. If the Earth is flat and they do melt, will all the water just run off the side?
The ice wall is too high.
Yeah, but I think you'll find that a piece of the ice wall has just broken off in a carving event. So there's a massive hole in the ice wall, and all the water is going to drain away.
We got to turn to DeadKennedyInSpace here, guys. Your turn, buddy.
Sorry, I'm only cutting in because I need to head out. So I wanted to give my final thoughts real quick. This video is, to me, all about fear. It's very fear-based. It wants people to feel afraid of some sort of unknown other that's going to control their lives. And that just makes me sad because I can't imagine living a life like that. I find that idea very depressing.
Very paranoid feel.
Yeah. And with that in mind, I also want to respond to, is it 'cause I is flat? Who said, one day all globe heads will be extinct. Yes, they will. Someday.
Yeah, along with fucking globe denying fucktards.
Yep. Everybody dies, and that's okay.
Exactly. It's kind of the end thing. It's coming. I mean, that's kind of that, right?
And before I head out, I also just want to say this has been an awesome show. I always have such a great time coming here. This is the highlight of my week now, is the Saturday shows. And Hiith, I want to thank you very much for coming on. I'm a big fan of yours. and Planarwalk as usual. It's great to have you on as well.
Well, thank you.
That's all.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. It's good to have an excuse to drink more.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
We got a couple of super chats to read out here quick. Digital Demonic Davros, Australian $2. Globe Lives Matter. Globe Lives Matter. I love it. Thanks, brother. Right on. And I have to scroll for a second, so I'm muttering.
9 o'clock hero for
£1.99
says, my ancient ancestor left me a recipe for alien stew, man.
Ooh, I've got questions around that. I've got questions. Is that a stew made of aliens? Or is that a stew recipe?
Good fucking point, pal. Good fucking point.
Because I'm a carnivore. And I need a large amount of space, apparently.
Would you have a garden alien stew?
I've never tried alien stew. I mean, I've tried many types of meat, but
I tell
alien.
you what, right? If you had said to me, I have tried alien stew, I'd say you're talking out of your fucking arse, pal. You haven't tried it. Stop fucking trying to pull one over on the monkey.
It depends on your definition of alien. Are we talking alien as in extraterrestrial or illegal immigrants?
Oh,
Yeah,
you,
like-
you eat illegal immigrants now, do you?
I happen to know the lizard people prefer soup to stew, so I do know that's one right there.
Oh, shit, this goes to an earlier comment. I think I'm nearly rumbled.
Well, is that because no dentists will fucking like take a look at them?
So who's up next here on the round table wrap ups? Let's get to Planarwalk. What do you got to jump in with? What do you think of all that?
Okay, so yeah, I wanted to say something about the whole the whole video. So that video was actually created by Glenn Beck.
You've got the floor entirely here, so carry on.
Okay, so essentially, right at the end, there's a part that we didn't get to, where it played some supposed adverts for Agenda 21, which were actually just Glenn Beck scare campaign adverts, and one of the things that it cut out right at the end of that video, which had all the red things, is go to www.glennbeck.com. So. And as I said, I've responded to this video. Can I put a link to the video in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay,
go for it.
A proper shill.
Yeah, exactly. And we love that stuff here. Absolutely. Steaming Cup of Reason. Thoughts and wrap ups?
Well, this is obviously a big bowl of stupid today, but as usual, it's fun kicking them around. I really enjoyed myself today. As far as the stuff that's been covered, is there any intelligence to it all? I have to say no. Yeah. Great time. Had to bring in the Del Cows. Can't have a Shill show without the Del Cows.
Yeah, exactly. That was awesome. Hey, how about Logical Troglodyte? Thoughts and wrap ups?
I think anybody caught making a conspiracy video that's as stupid as the ones we watched tonight needs to be sent back to kindergarten, mandatory adult kindergarten, and bring them back through the educational system, because obviously they failed the first time around. And the only other thing I've been wondering about is why when AB Science was talking about being a carnivore and alien stew, was I getting a picture of a 6'5" Winnie the Pooh with fangs?
That's pretty much how Mr. Science describes me.
Oh, that's funny. That's good. That's the kind
that's a very strong point around the Agenda 21. Actually, all of these fucking people should be objected to Agenda 21, so they might actually experience a proper fucking education.
Good point.
No doubt. That's a good one. And, AB was just talking there. There was a point I wanted to make earlier that got missed. You were talking about deserts being an important part of the ecosystem. Without the granular sand being picked up by the wind and carried over and across, you wouldn't have the Okavango Delta. That's just that. So it absolutely will fuck it up again for sure. I guess that'll be my wrap up there. Who do I have to get to here still? I forgot to keep a fucking list. Monkey, what do you got, buddy?
Well, I mean, we've just watched a bunch of fucking total bollocks, really, haven't we? I mean, a total paranoia at its finest. In the second video, take everything out of context and twist it and make it a massive pile of underwear and put a deep dark tone on it, so it's coming at you from a completely different angle and they haven't got a fucking clue. The first video, now that was absolute bollocks. Complete bollocks. I mean, well, check this book out. You can't find it anywhere apart from the library near you. I mean, come on.
You can't make this shit up, man. These guys are amazing.
Thanks to the guests, Planarwalk and Hiith. Sorry, Hiith, if you weren't prepared for me. Tough shit. You've met me now. Deal with it. All you wonderful people that watch us, fucking loved a lot of you. Is it 'cause I is flat? I love you, man, but you're a fucking plumber if you think the earth is flat. It fucking isn't, mate, all right? And when are we going to do this debate so I can destroy you and then we can put it on YouTube?
Ah, yes. Not bad thinking. That would be good.
The first ever debate where the two fucking idiots are in the same room.
Not a bad thought. That's a good one. Right on. Who haven't I got to on the list? I just didn't even keep one. I'm barely holding it together here. Not feeling well.
We need to hear from Flatter.
Flatter, yes.
And here's me thinking I could lurk in the background and no one will notice.
Not a fucking chance.
But I'm not too concerned with all this Agenda 21 crap or anything like that, because at the end of the day, we're not too far away from Zephyrin Cochrane doing his warp test, and the Vulcans are going to come save us.
Yay.
Sorry, I had to throw a Star Wars thing in there eventually.
No. Oh, that was a funny little jab at the end there, too. Good stuff. So, have I missed anybody? Are we all caught up? Tatty, your thoughts, wrap-ups from the great producer himself.
That's it. Oh, well, a couple of beezers of videos tonight, man. I don't apologise in the slightest for it. It's just the way it goes sometimes. Enjoy the pain. And I'll see you soon.
That's what I'll throw shit at you later in the office.
One last thing I was going to say. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock BST, and make your adjustments from that for wherever you are. Please join us for a poker night on the Barman's channel.
Oh, yeah.
Good shout. Yep. Sunday night poker with the Sarcastic Barman and Tatty and Kiri. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic stuff. Everybody has to check it out.
In other words, while I'm at work again and can't join in. I get it. I understand, guys. I see what's going on here.
That's the problem if you live in the future.
Yeah, well, you can't bring the guy from the future to the card game because he knows what's going on already. You can't have that.
Firstly, you may as well just ruin the show and go back and tell us who's going to win.
I'd rather live in a fucking tree.
You already do.
You do.
Yeah.
It's wicked, man. I tell you what, right? All of you want to be a monkey.
Jesus.
Make all the noises you want, pal. You're not a monkey. Do you know what I mean? You don't know what it's like to be a monkey, and you won't because you're not a monkey, fucker.
Let's get Aimee Hogan in for her thoughts on everything tonight here. What's going on, Aimee?
Ah, geez, these conspiracy theorists, they think everything is just this big, scary thing. How do they get out of bed in the morning? How do they get out from under the covers? I mean,
I mean, how do they have a mirror in their house thinking somebody's watching from the other side?
Absolutely.
sleep in a
the
Faraday
paranoia.
Nightmare.
Yes,
That
it's
was
a
a good-
constant nightmare for them.
Did I just hear Hiith say they sleep in a Faraday cage?
Yeah, that's how they wake up feeling refreshed and not as depressed as everyone else. You got to get that fucking Faraday cage. Put chicken wire around the room where you sleep. Look it up. It's a real thing. I swear to God.
Oh, I love it.
My word.
Oh, that's amazing.
You got to be pretty far gone for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're hitting the 2-hour mark here. We better get it wrapped up. We
Had
better
Aimee
call it
finished?
a night.
I thought Aimee had a little bit more to say. Did you have anything else to say, Aimee?
Oh, that's okay. I'm fine. But I was just gonna say, it's just, I don't understand how they can just live life being in fear so often, and to think everything is a conspiracy. When I was working at the credit union, we were starting to implement what was called Check 21, and there was even a conspiracy about that as well. Oh, they can keep track of you better now. No, it's just a way to clear your check faster. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So there's a conspiracy for just about anything you can find.
Oh, absolutely. And I think on that note, let's turn to Hiith for the last word of the night. Message to the Flurf community, thoughts, anything you want, all yours.
All right. The last word of the night is ostrich. I've had one too many drinks. Good night.
You said fucking monkey.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I think on that note, ladies and gentlemen, the silly Shill show fucking tongue twister is done for this evening. I want to thank Hiith and Planarwalk for joining us, because that was absolutely super fun and fantastic stuff. I don't want to thank the Flurfs for their contribution, because my fucking head is sore. Now remember, people, flat Earth is a disease, and if it gets you, it could take you down to IQ levels no one's ever seen. They're so fucking low. Get yourself inoculated and stay safe. Head down to a library and read a fucking book. It could save your life. What are we going to say, folks? We're the Shills, and we're out of here. Take it easy, folks. Say goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
You want the flip side.
Cheers.
I love you.